All right, so you kind of have to wait on the domain and range for these until you get the graph and then look at it. So we're gonna wait on those. But hey guys, what's the amplitude? None, just put none. There, you could put NA, you can put a frowny face, I don't care, but you have to answer it, like you can't leave it blank and you can't put 0. So whatever. Period is 2 pi over whatever's in front of the x. The process hasn't changed from sine and cosine. Put the phone away. So it'll be 2 pi over what? 2. 2's cancel. It'll just be pi. Ooh, I got this so I can show you the stretches and strengths. Instead of 2 pi, we compressed it down to pi. Do you see how that works? Like we took it and like squished it. All right, phase shift. Do you see anything added or subtracted in there? No, so 0 or none. And vertical translation would be what? Yeah, you can either say -3 or you can say down 3, however you want to write that. Just don't forget to go back and answer the domain and range. You have to wait until you get the graph, but just don't forget to go back and answer them. So let's do the f of x values. You're going to go around the unit circle. If you want to block this off, you can. Whatever you get, you're going to subtract 3. You just have to do what's outside of the function. Now, if you get an undefined, you can't do undefined -3. Like it's just undefined. Like that'll just be an asymptote. Okay. So we are using the y values because it's cosecant. We're going to flip them. Your first y value is 0, so that is undefined. Then you're up at the top of the circle. It's 1 -3, so -2. Now we're on the left side of the circle. It's 0, so undefined. Hey, Ms. Cole, is every other one going to be undefined? Yeah. No. It's cool because it's nice. Like once you get used to these, it's like that's what I like about them is it just keeps repeating itself. All right, now we're at the bottom of the circle. It's -1 -3, be -4, and then undefined. So again, the trig function you get from the unit circle, and then you just have to do whatever's outside of that. All right, now this is the tough part. You start with the phase shift, which thankfully was nothing. It's always nice when that's 0. You can just start at 0. And then you add the period because you want to do 1 cycle. So what did we say the period was? Pi. All right, so nothing plus pi would be pi. And then you have to break that down to what's in between. So what's halfway between 0 and pi? Pi over 2, a half a pi. And then you have to break it down to fourths. So this would be pi over 4. And this would be 3 pi over, good. You can just count by fourths. It's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Don't label every tick mark. If you want it to be in fourths, just go to the 4th one and call it pi. Now I know all the other ones are fourths. And you can go 4 more and call it 2 pi. Now you know that they're fourths. And then we're just going to plot all that stuff. So at 0, there's an asymptote. And then -2, and then another asymptote. And then -4, this is going to go off the grid a little bit, but that's okay. And then another asymptote. And again, that's 1 cycle. I just want you to continue it 1 more. Like I should see 2 smiley faces and 2 frowny faces. So we're just going to go once more. I'm not grading your art skills, just do your best with that. I get that it's a little weird looking. Do you want another sheet? Or do you want to just draw an arrow and switches? All right, don't forget to go back and do the domain and range. I would do the range first because I think it's easier. This one would be -infinity up until what? Good, -4 with a bracket, union, and then like you're skipping this missing bit, and then you pick it up at -2. Again, it's like we turned sine inside out. And then, okay, the domain is the harder part. It's everything except where the asymptotes are. So it's all x except for, and the problem is you have an infinite number of them. So you take the first one and it's the first positive one or 0 if it's 0. Thankfully, this one's on 0. Do you guys see that there? 0. So it's 0. That's the first one. Plus, however often they happen. Now, do you see how these are 2 tick marks apart? Like 2 tick marks of space? We made each tick mark worth a fourth. So that means they're 2/4 apart from each other, plus pi over 2n. And the n in there just makes it go to infinity, like there's an infinite number of them.